Hey, welcome back to Laggin Out, guys. My name is Hiro, and you're watching the Laggin Out. I'm going to talk about Metroid Dread. I could just make it real simple for y'all and say, oh my god, this fucking game is fucking amazing, go play it. I just don't feel like that would do it justice. I'm just going to break down the Metroid timeline. Long ago, back in the 80s, they released this game called Metroid. There was no narrative. Well, there was. The game's story was encompassed in the game books that came with the cartridges. Story was also told in the preamble of the game. The rest of it was told in gameplay. It was lacking in narrative. It would come as no surprise to me. Many people don't actually know the origin story of Samus Aran and what drove her to become a bounty hunter and known as the Metroid Hunter. Hey, if you have not yet, I would ask you to hit that subscribe button and then click that bell to get notifications. We're going to start off with the origin story. So around the time that Nintendo Power was a magazine, they had a publication in it that was actually a manga. A manga was written about Samus Aran and the Metroid story. This came out probably shortly after or around the same time or as the Metroid game. It was released to a degree, it was released in bits and pieces in the instruction booklet, and it came out in Nintendo Power as a companion storyline. Tells Samus's origins. She started out as the daughter of a family that lived on a mining colony. The planet was called K2L. When this happened, Samus witnessed her family being brutally murdered by the space dragon known as Ridley. He was a member of the space pirates. He was sentient. Long story short, he murdered her parents in front of her. She was found as the sole survivor of the mining colony and taken in by the Chozo, an advanced alien race. They trained her, and they really all the manga, the details that the manga goes into is that they trained her, they nursed her back to health, and then gave her first power armor. And what better of a warfighter than one of the most advanced races teaching you how to be a warrior and then giving you advanced tech to boot. Then she enlisted into the Galactic Federation, which effectively would be, say, Star Trek, the Federation, Starfleet, whatever. And she became a soldier in that, a soldier in the Space Navy, so to speak. Yeah, this leads into Zero Mission. Metroid was the game that came out first, and then Metroid Zero Mission came out on the Game Boy Advance. They tell kind of the same story. The gameplay's different. The gameplay kind of extends a little bit more. The finer details is Metroid and Metroid Zero Mission kind of go hand in hand. I personally don't look at them as the same game. Other people would. In Zero Mission and the game Metroid, the space pirates attack the colony, the Chozo colony that had taken Samus in. She's called in to support it. Around this moment that the attack happens, the advanced supercomputer that the Chozo used turned rogue. So it was a rogue AI. That's what Mother Brain is an advanced supercomputer / AI that turned on the Chozo. So they joined this AI joined the space pirate ranks, started working with the space pirates, and Samus Aran comes in and beats the living daylights out of Mother Brain and all the other mutant creatures that the space pirates were genetically engineering, like Crag, Ridley, and a couple other... Kraid, not Crag. Kraid and Ridley. And it is revealed at the end of Zero Mission that Samus is ambushed by the space pirates and her starship crash lands back on the surface. This planet is Planet Zebes. Her power armor is taken from her, starship destroyed, so she's forced to use the Zero Suit, which everybody has come to call the Zero Suit Samus. She's forced to use that to infiltrate the space pirates' mothership, and she uses it to find another way off the planet. She sabotages the ship, at the end of the game, gets a fully powered power suit from the ruins, from a colony ruins on planet Zebes, which actually ends up being Chozo ruins. It's called Chozodia. Great creative naming. She steals an escape ship from the pirate mothership and causes it to self-destruct, which also eliminates the Ridley robot, which in this series, Ridley is a staple. He never goes away. He's almost in every freaking game. Not quite, I'll admit. He's almost in every freaking Metroid game. He's like a cockroach. He just never actually dies. Robo Ridley, Cyber Ridley, you'll see him later, or Mecha Ridley, I guess you could call it. You'll see him later. He's a staple. The next game following Zero Mission is Metroid Prime. So it was my third game in the Metroid series that I ever played. It was the first 3D Metroid that I ever played. In this game, you go to the planet Talon 4, as Samus, of course. She receives a distress signal and travels to Talon 4 to stop the space pirates from using Phazon, this radioactive substance, to take over the universe, basically. Started out as let's use this as an endless energy supply, and turned into, let's use this to create weapons of war and use it as a weapon of mass destruction because it's highly toxic and corrupts everything it touches. She discovers there that the Chozo had once settled on that planet. Come to find out, that's not actually true. Their disappearance and the appearance of Phazon is due to an interstellar object crashing into the planet. This story arc spans 3 games. You don't actually find out what Phazon is or what this interstellar object was until you get to Metroid Prime 3. But anyways, the long story short is you make your way through Talon 4 and you come across several Chozo ruins and conveniently locate many power-ups for your power suit that are good for you. Come to find out that the Chozo somehow, with their awesome powers of science, were able to see Samus coming to the planet to destroy the source of this problem, so they left power-ups for her along the way to help her on her journey. This is a recurring theme, is the Chozo are so scientifically advanced that they could see the damn future. They couldn't see the future to save themselves, go figure. The prophecies foretold Samus arriving on the planet. She gets to what's called the cradle, which is the location to enter the crater where this interstellar object hit. And upon arriving there, you run into Mecha Ridley and do battle with Mecha Ridley, who, by the way, is this full-screen boss that you love to hate him because he's hard as heck to avoid, he's hard to dodge, he's a pain in the ass. I mean, Metroid has been a game series that has encompassed and embodied the concept of a get good pleb from the beginning. The only way to really get past Ridley, and the only true understanding of beating Ridley in this case, is to definitely get good. You need to learn his patterns of attack. You need to, just like any other boss really, you need to learn his patterns of attack. You need to jump over his tail. You need to dodge his fireballs. You got to dodge his claws. He's big and hard to avoid. You just learn how to effectively use the dodge system. That's the only thing I can say. But long story short, Samus beats him, and not just beats him, but she beats him handily, and activates the elevator to get down into the crater to run into what ultimately becomes known as Metroid Prime. There is a Queen Metroid that is found in the deep, dark recesses of this impact crater. When you get to this point, you run into the Queen Metroid on the planet, who got corrupted by the Phazon and was being used by the creature you don't know yet. You learn later that there is a creature that had crashed into Talon 4. Was basically, the purpose of this creature is to spread Phazon. The creature took the Queen Metroid and infected it with Phazon, corrupted it to make it its guardian. Later on, I guess as time wore on, this Metroid was just feeding on the Phazon and became another full screen boss that you had to fight to destroy to survive. Or you beat it, and its dying act was to impale Samus's suit and absorb all the Phazon energy from it. Because you go down there, and at some point you become infected with Phazon, and the suit assimilates the Phazon. It activates a new attack called the Phazon Beam. Ultimately, you get through it, and the giant Metroid's final act was to absorb all the Phazon from it and then die. At this point, the planet starts to implode upon itself because you basically destroyed the creature that was keeping it stabilized, or something along those lines. It's another recurring theme in Metroid. You do something and you got to escape, get back to your ship before the planet blows up. You usually got about a 5 to 10 minute timeline, sometimes shorter. You escape the planet.